Okay, so let's dive right into this explainer by painting a little bit of a picture. I want you to imagine waking up on a crisp Tuesday morning in early November. It's election day. The news is absolutely everywhere, dominating every single channel, every feed on your phone. Millions of people are standing in line to vote, wrapped up in coats, holding their coffees, waiting to cast their ballots. It feels just like a normal election day, right? But the atmosphere is thick with a suspense unlike literally anything we've seen in history.
You see, there's this eerie, almost mysterious tone to this specific election cycle. Think about it. There are no political rallies packed with cheering crowds. There are no grand campaign speeches echoing through massive stadiums. No heated television debates where candidates are just talking over one another. Actually, it's completely quiet on the traditional campaign front.
And here's the crazy twist. The reason for all that silence? One of the leading candidates on the ballot isn't human. It's an artificial intelligence. Now, right off the bat, I know exactly what you're thinking. No way, that sounds impossible. That's pure science fiction. And you're not wrong to think that. How could a machine, literally just lines of code stored on servers somewhere, become the leader of a sovereign nation? It totally breaks everything we know about government.
But hey, let's pause for a second. This whole scenario forces us to ask a different, much deeper question. What actually makes a great leader? Is true leadership fundamentally just about raw intelligence? Is it about honesty or having decades of experience? Is it the ability to make those incredibly difficult decisions under immense pressure? Or, on the flip side, is it the ability to deeply understand people and their everyday struggles?
If we look at the argument for AI, the traits are undeniably compelling. Supporters of AI leadership point out that a machine could be, well, the ultimate logical leader. I mean, it makes decisions based purely on facts and hard evidence. It never, ever gets tired, it doesn't need a coffee break or a good night's sleep, it never seeks personal wealth so it wouldn't fall victim to corruption, and it never forgets a single piece of important information. Just think about the sheer efficiency of that. It could analyze economic reports, healthcare statistics, crime data, weather patterns, and shifting international events in mere seconds. Instead of relying on a small, maybe biased group of human advisors, an AI could evaluate literally millions of possibilities before recommending a single policy.
So, let's look at how that flawless logic would apply in the real world. Imagine a major, devastating hurricane approaching the coast. A human leader usually has to wait around for briefings, right? But an AI leader? It instantly analyzes live satellite images, real-time traffic conditions, current hospital capacities, emergency supply levels, and minute-by-minute weather forecasts. Within seconds, it coordinates the safest evacuation routes, deploys resources, and predicts exactly which communities are going to need help first. The sheer speed of this optimization could, in theory at least, save thousands of lives.
And it doesn't just stop at natural disasters. Say the economy starts slowing down. Inflation is rising, businesses are struggling to keep the lights on, and millions of people are terrified about losing their jobs. An AI could instantly examine decades of global economic history. It could compare similar crises from all around the world, simulate thousands of possible financial interventions, and then suggest the absolute most effective strategy to stabilize the market and save jobs. It sounds incredibly impressive, doesn't it? Like the ultimate problem solver. But let's slow down for a second. Leadership is about so much more than just solving equations. Let's go back to that natural disaster we talked about, and imagine a family that has just lost absolutely everything. Their home is completely gone. When the president addresses the nation, would that devastated family really want a perfectly optimized, mathematically correct data report? Or would they want compassion, a reassuring human voice, a leader who actually understands their pain because, well, they're human too? Empathy is something we naturally recognize, and more importantly, it's something we deeply value. People don't simply elect leaders just because they're the smartest person in the room. They elect leaders they trust.
And trust is totally crucial, because leadership requires making some truly impossible choices. Let's look at a few of these dilemmas. Should a government take its limited budget and spend more money on healthcare for the sick, or on education for the next generation? There is no correct mathematical answer for that. It's purely a choice based on priorities and trust. Or how about this one? How much of your personal privacy should citizens be forced to sacrifice in the name of national security? Just to keep the country safe, do you give up your right to be left alone? Again, there's no perfect data point that magically solves this. It's a fundamental human dilemma. Or consider this. Should new disruptive technologies be heavily restricted by the government to protect people's current jobs, or should they be allowed to run free to boost the overall economy, even if it means some people might lose their livelihoods? As you can see, these scenarios are overwhelmingly complex. You can't just plug them into a machine and ask for the quote-unquote right answer.
It all boils down to one absolutely crucial reality. These aren't mathematical problems. They're questions about values. And because these are deeply personal questions of human values, different people across a nation are always going to disagree on the answers. A purely logical AI, no matter how much data it crunches, is fundamentally unsuited for a job that requires navigating the messy, emotional reality of human disagreement and moral compromise.
And all these philosophical disagreements build up into some massive real-world risks. First off, consider bias risks. An AI learns from data created by us, humans. If our historical data contains mistakes, prejudices, or unfair patterns, the AI might unknowingly repeat them, but on a massive scale. Decisions that look perfectly objective might actually produce heavily biased outcomes. Next up, control and power. Who actually built this AI? Who controls its software updates? Who decides its core priorities? If a single tech corporation controlled the AI running a government, man, that concentration of power would be incredibly dangerous. And finally, cybersecurity threats. A nation simply cannot risk having its central leadership system hacked or manipulated by bad actors. Even the absolute most advanced tech is vulnerable to failures and attacks.
So, where does that leave us? Well, the practical reality we're looking at in this explainer is that the future probably isn't about replacing human leaders with machines altogether. Rather, it's about giving our presidents, prime ministers, and policymakers incredibly powerful AI tools. Imagine an AI acting as the ultimate presidential advisor, helping human leaders understand complex problems faster, evaluate evidence way more accurately, and make much better informed decisions without getting bogged down in all the data crunching themselves.
We have to remember one core truth here. The final judgment must always belong to elected humans. Why? Because governments don't exist simply to process information and, optimize traffic flows. They exist to represent human nature. They exist to represent people's hopes, their deepest fears, their personal beliefs, and their grandest dreams. And a machine, no matter how ridiculously advanced it gets, simply cannot dream.
Artificial intelligence may indeed become one of the most powerful advisors humanity has ever created. But whether it should ever actually sit in the big chair and become the decision-maker itself, that remains one of the greatest questions of our time. As technology advances at lightning speed, societies around the world are going to have to ask themselves, where exactly do we draw the line between human judgment and machine intelligence? It's a pretty profound thought to leave you with today, especially because this conversation has already begun. And honestly, the decisions we make over this next decade, they're going to shape the future of every single nation on Earth.